parents and the children could have fun together.
Please board quickly and safely. Our monorail will be departing momentarily.
Welcome to the My DVC Points podcast. Join the conversation as DVC members share their stories, personal preferences, and magical memories. Your reservation is confirmed, your fast passes are booked. Pull up on the yellow strap because our journey into the magic of membership is about to begin.
To infinity and beyond.
Now, here's your host and curator of magical stories, Chad Pennycuff.
Welcome home, neighbors, to the My DVC Points podcast live. My name is Chad, and I'm your host tonight. Tonight, we're talking with Jimmy Horne about his DVC journey. But before we bring Jimmy into the show, need to do a quick ad read and shout out to our mutual sponsors, because over at the Disney Nerds podcast, they have the same crew behind them, backing them up on their show, and that would be the DVC resale market. If you're in the market to buy or sell a contract, head on over to DVC Resale Market. They're the largest DVC reseller out there. They've got the most inventory. Every single one of their guides is a former Disney Direct guide, so you can get that Disney level experience without having to pay the Disney price tag. DVCResaleMarket.com. Let them know you heard about them here on the My DVC Points podcast and our joint show with Jimmy Horne. So let's welcome to the show, Mr. Jimmy. How you doing today, Jimmy?
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good, buddy. Like happy as just, a hog and slop to have you on this show today. Cause I've been trying to reach out and coordinate schedules for forever and a day. It seems like
it's been a while. And I'm glad to be here. I've been looking forward to it. I'm kind of sharing the show out right now to my people so they can hop on. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. I love buying DVC is one of the best decisions I think I've made for myself and my family, and I love talking about it, and I talk about it every chance I get.
Yeah. So, what year did you become a DVC member? How did this start for you?
I think I originally bought in 2019, which was an interesting year to buy into DVC because a year later the world fell apart. Mm-hmm. 2019, we bought maybe it was even 2018. We bought our original contract through DVC Resale Market, 100 points.
Okay, nice small one to get your toes wet.
Yep, we own it Saratoga Springs. Shout out to Derek DeBoer over at DVC Resale Market. He guided me on that path. But prior to purchasing DVC, where we really got the bug was we have a friend who was from New Orleans, where I lived in Florida, but kept her DVC contract. So she wasn't using it quite as much. So she was renting us points.
Oh, okay.
So I was renting points directly from her, and so I got to stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge, Savannah View room, renting points from her, and we stayed at Bay Lake Tower, renting points from her. It was 2 separate years, and that was kind of it. After those 2 stays, I was kind of like, I think we need to go ahead and pull the trigger and buy some of our own points.
Now, had you stayed deluxe before that, or
never stayed deluxe? Prior to that, I'd stayed at every value resort and probably every moderate resort, but never had stayed at a deluxe resort.
Yeah, now I'm just going back because I think the Disney Nerds podcast is 10, 11 years old. So 2018, you were podcasting Disney stuff for a few years before you bought into this.
Yeah, and look, I was a firm believer in, just staying at value resorts and enjoying them. And I'm going in November for our annual Disney Nerds podcast meetups. And me and my wife are staying at Pop Century. One of the reasons is, and we didn't talk about this yet, but as a travel agent, once a year, we get a travel agent discount on a Disney resort. So we're using that discount to stay there. In addition to that, though, a lot of the people who go to attend the meets are staying at Pop Century. So,
stay with your peeps, man.
Yeah, it's nice to be around the whole group at the end of the night, stop by the pool bar, stop by Pedal's Pool Bar, and hang out for a nightcap before you go back to your room, or meet for breakfast in the morning before you head out to the park. So prior to...
Yeah, there's no shame and no value game here, man.
Oh, no, I love it, man. We were firm believers in the value resorts, and every now and then we would upgrade, depending on discounts and things like that. We would upgrade to a moderate, maybe pay a couple $100 more and stay at. Our favorite is always Port Orleans Riverside. I can make a strong argument for Coronado now, though.
That tower is no moderate, man.
Man,
it's
deluxe. It's a deluxe. I've said that on our show before, that it's literally like a deluxe resort for basically in between moderate and deluxe pricing.
Yeah, moderate plus kind of.
Yeah, moderate plus. Almost like Pop Century at this point is almost value plus, right?
It's definitely value plus. Like
with the Skyliner, you get premium transportation. So that's a lot of fun. So then,
if you ask me, those art animation suites are like,
that's
value plus.
They are, and they're not incredibly expensive when you compare them to, if you're at a point in your life where you have to do 2 value rooms, if you were at a point where you couldn't fit in one room and you had to add an additional room, it's about the same price. They're very close to being the same price as 2 rooms at Pop.
Yeah, my best friend got one not long ago. He has like 3 teenage daughters, and like 2 value rooms just wasn't cutting it. And so,
in a moderate room wouldn't cut. I mean, it's tough, especially when they get a little older and you need a little more space. And that the suites offer that and give you that separate room, the master room at the art animation suites, that you can kind of has its own restroom, and you can kind of close the door and at night and
dude.
Get away from the kids a little bit,
man.
Yeah. That little privacy.
Say that on this show all the time.
Yeah, for sure. So we get to stay a couple places. I think one of the coolest things is about, unfortunately, pandemic hit, right, and everything changes, but it provided us a lot of time during that time, because I had bought DVC, and by that time I had added on another 50-point contract at Saratoga, same use year. But during that time, I got to stay at Boardwalk twice, which is tough to get unless you own there.
Oh yeah.
Me and my friend Ian, the month it reopened after the pandemic, which was July, we got a room we were doing a guys trip. We got a room at Beach Club and got upgraded to a 2-bedroom villa.
Nice.
My wife was not happy about that. I was getting upgraded. She's like, what? Yeah, right. On one trip I'm not on, you get upgraded to a 2-bedroom villa. But it was amazing because it was just me and my buddy Ian. We'd get there at the end of the day, we'd get to the room, he'd go one way, I'd go the other way. We'd be like, all right, see you tomorrow. And
you take the west wing, I'll take the east wing.
Yeah. So it was great. So I am completely sold on DVC 100%. I should have did it. And I know when I was looking into it, Derek always told me the number one complaint they get is I should have done it sooner. And I definitely should have done it sooner.
Followed up by I should have bought more when I bought.
Should have bought more.
The prices only went up since then.
Correct. That is 100% true. I think at the time I bought Saratoga for around 100 a point. And now I think it's probably closer to 140 a point on the resale market, somewhere in that. You might be able to find it a little cheaper on really big contracts, but it's usually
it's
around
come down a little bit since the
Yeah.
pandemic too, because it kind of spiked with the pandemic, and it's starting to
and kind of
come back
settled
down
in.
into reality now. And
I'm probably going to be adding another 50-point contract in the near future. I'd like to maybe find, I think for me it was talking with Derek, what's the best bang for the buck? Talking to Derek and Nick.
Okay.
What's the best bang for the buck? And
Nick was selling back then too, right?
Yeah. So both of them guided me, and I was friends with both of them at the time. So
yeah, he was my agent as well. So back in the day, and
without a doubt, they said, look, if you don't really, if it's not important to you where you stay, you just want DVC, you want deluxe accommodations, Saratoga with the annual dues and the price per point is the best value, and length of contract is the best value. So that's what I did, and I listened to them, and we bought it, and because of the pandemic, we were able to stay a lot of different places. We went on 4 trips before we actually ever stayed at Saratoga. Saratoga was one of the last out of all the DVC resorts we've stayed. Saratoga is one of the last ones we've stayed at, and since then, it's really become one of our favorites to me. If you can get that preferred room in Congress Park at Saratoga, it's a great place to stay.
Yeah, that is for a lot of us, Saratoga is the resort of last resort. So.
Yeah,
it's when you can't get nothing else in Walt Disney World, you kind of end up going there because you messed around and you didn't book it 7 months or 11 months or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. But I've come to love it. I really do. I love Saratoga.
The refurb there has put a dent in that reputation. That latest refurb is amazing.
It's great. And look, I like to golf. I've got my friend and co-host Lisa, who lives locally there in Florida, and me and her will meet up and go play some golf. And the place we like to play golf is Lake Buena Vista. So the last time I was there in April, I called up Bell Services. They sent somebody to me in a cart and picked me up at the room and threw the golf clubs on it and drove me up to the clubhouse, which was amazing.
Nice. I didn't know they'd do that there. So that's.
By the way, pro tip, and a lot of people don't know this. If you have a tee time at a Walt Disney World Resort golf course and you're staying, let's say, at Animal Kingdom Lodge, you can go to Bell Services and they will call a cab for you and pay for it to bring you to the clubhouse to golf.
Really?
Yes. They will transport you there for free on their dime.
Now, will they send you back too, or just?
Yes.
Just
no, they'll send you both ways.
Nice.
Both ways on their dime. Absolutely. 100%.
Nice.
You don't have to pay. I mean, maybe other than, tipping the taxi driver or whatever, but they'll send you both. My buddy Ian, the last time we played, I was at Saratoga, so they sent me one of the little carts came pick me up and brought me up to the clubhouse, but he was at Animal Kingdom Lodge, and they called the taxi for him and covered it and sent him over to us.
Now,
to
is
play.
that only the full blown courses, like the little 9-hole walking course? I'd be shocked because I didn't even pay for that one.
It's my understanding that if you have a tee time, they'll taxi. It doesn't matter. They'll get you there at no cost.
Wow, that's amazing because like that $99 add-on to your annual pass for water parks and more lets you do that
to Oak Trail.
golf course.
Well, interestingly enough, that last day, because Lisa lives locally and she's a member there at the golf course, and so if there's a tee time available in Twilight within like 7 or 8 days or something like that, if there's a tee time available, they'll let you go ahead and book for like $15. So we only paid $15 a piece to play.
Oh man!
So they cost them more for the taxi probably then. But they don't. I mean,
in green fees, yeah.
Yeah, then we paid in green fees. Yeah, so it's probably a net loss. But
yeah.
But I mean, look, sometimes you go play there and it's $100. So it all washes out. So
yeah, they're going to get it one way or another.
Yeah, they're going to get it one way or the other for sure.
And the swag there, like the Mickey golf swag, is like off the charts, man. It is like I don't do golf, material too much, but it's got me willing to pay for some Mickey swag on golf gear.
I went and golfed this past Saturday here in New Orleans, and I had my Mickey golf shirt on that I bought, at the clubhouse. It's amazing.
Yeah. What's changed in this? It sounds like your buying decision here was you were a value buyer. You were looking for like network points. You didn't care where you stayed as long as you were at Walt Disney World. And back at that day, Saratoga was the unequivocal king of lowest dues, lowest price per point, longest, total cost of ownership kind of analysis. Saratoga was king.
And with that being said, I don't think that's changed.
With the years left on the contract, Bay Lake's dues are a little cheaper now. Grand Flow's dues are a little cheaper now.
Okay.
So it's not as clear cut as it used to be, but it's by no stretch of the imagination a bad buy over there.
Yeah, gotcha.
And
I think you can even throw in there the old QS extended contracts.
Yeah. Now those dues are starting to creep up there a little bit.
Are they? That's good to know.
Yeah, they're starting to creep up there a little bit, but it's still a great resort. And the extended for the 2057 end date, you can't go wrong with.
Yeah,
and
I just stayed there last month. We stayed old QS, and
my favorite for that is if you can find an Alani subsidized dues, because that is the cheapest dues in all of DVC.
Oh, really?
And you've got a really long life left on Alani, and then you get the 11-month at Alani if you ever want to go, which is amazing. I'll hush. I had to get my Alani plug in this show.
I don't know if I could.
My listener said I've got a quota that I got to like shout out Alani at least once a show.
I don't know if I could take that flight. Oh God.
It's not bad. What you do is you go to LA, you hang out at Hollywood for a day or so, get kind of accumulated, and then you take 5.5 hour flight over to Honolulu.
Yeah. And
then you reverse it and you stop at Disneyland on the way home. Then it's not quite so bad.
I was saying, speaking of Lisa, I see she commented in the chat. That's
Lisa's saying hi over here. So so value buyer in Saratoga, you said 150 point add-on has kind of hit, and that kind of makes sense if you're getting the annual travel agent rates or the travel agent specials, because every now and then they throw you guys more than one bone a year.
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah, so you're able to come on that, and that's a pretty reasonable rate.
Yeah, it's 50% off if whatever's available. So it typically ends up being fairly inexpensive,
Yeah. That's really, really good. I'd like to get in on some of that.
Yeah.
to be honest with you.
Usually once per year, one trip per year up to 7 nights. You can get it 50% off. So at Pop, it really makes it fairly reasonable. So it's a good deal. And like you and I had talked a little bit before the show. I mean, my life has changed because me and my wife are empty nesters. Our kids are out of the house. We don't need a ton of space. Like Pop is fine. I do enjoy Saratoga or Old Key West. I mean, it's much nicer. The pools are nicer. Transportation's better, but the room at like a Pop Century or All Star is fine for me and my wife. It's just the two of us.
Oh yeah. Those are great rooms. Now, have you stayed studios, or have you ventured into? I know you had the one stay at Beach Club into a 2-bedroom. Have you ventured into the 1-2-bedroom land, or?
That was the one time, and no, that was the one time. Other than that, we've only stayed studios. This past trip I did in July at Old Key West. We did Old Key West because it was another guy's trip. So it was me and my buddy Ian, and to me, the setup at Old Key West is just suits that better because there's no fold-down beds. You get the 2 real beds and a little more space.
Oh yeah.
For a couple of guys, as opposed to Saratoga or any of the other ones with the fold-down.
So Jared wants to know: have you ever tried one of the Tower studios?
I've been in Bay Lake Tower, rented though. So that was kind of my intro into DVC, was renting those points from our friend Rachel. So
yeah, I guess I should probably clarify that. Like the Riviera Resort Tower studios, the little duo rooms, the little 2 people ones.
I bought resale, so I'm not allowed to.
If you did it in 2019, you wouldn't be allowed over there.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to use my points for Riviera.
Okay, yeah, that does make sense as well. Has that been a big pain point for you?
No, I don't care.
No big deal?
Don't care one bit. Don't care one bit. I don't have any desire to really stay there.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I've stayed there twice now, and I like it, but the Skyliner drives me nuts. It just, lightning strikes, and it goes down on me every single time I'm there. Yeah. Even if I'm meeting somebody there for lunch, I'll get stranded on the Skyliner if I park over at Hollywood and Skyliner over just to meet somebody there for lunch. It's not good.
I went and walked around. I forgot where I was leaving Hollywood Studios. I was there with some friends and was heading over to Disney Springs. And so I was thinking the easiest way to get there would be hop on the Skyliner, hop off at Riviera. I'd never been to the resort, and then just walk through Riviera and hop on a bus to go to Disney Springs. So that's what I did. And so I went and walked around the resort for a little while and kind of just got a feel for the resort. And I think it's great. It's beautiful. I don't have a ton of desire to stay there. It's nothing. Like the location's nothing special. I think for most of the deluxe resorts, you're paying for location, except for maybe the Animal Kingdom Lodge, which you're paying for something else, which is probably as nice as location, because a Savannah View room there is pretty freaking amazing.
Yeah.
But I think the rest of them, you're really paying for location, right? I mean, even at Saratoga, if you're in Congress Park or the Springs, that ability to just walk over to Disney Springs in the evenings is pretty fantastic.
Oh, yeah, it is. You're definitely paying for location there as well.
Yeah.
And Old Key West, maybe not so much, but it's still not a bad boat ride to Disney Springs.
Beautiful boat ride. Get to see all the treehouse villas. And
then you're on a golf course, too. And the point charts are cheap. So it's not like you're paying the location premium there as well.
That's true.
So, yeah, Jared fires back, don't hate on my Riviera fight words. So we'll meet at Sanaa over bread service and have words. So challenge accepted, Jared. Challenge accepted.
That's good.
Don't torture me with Sanaa. Like, all you got to do is mention Sanaa to me, and I'm there.
Fantastic.
Now that I kind of moved down here part time, everybody's like, "Well, where is it that you eat?" And I'm like, "Well, the only place I ever go that of my choice is Sanaa. It's just the best." Like, other than that, it's like Disney food is just too expensive.
I just watched it. Oh God, you got to go do. My thing that I've been on, and if Lisa's still watching, she'll attest to this, is the breakfast at Steakhouse 71 it's incredible. It's off the chain. It's so ridiculous. They have these cheesy bacon grits, and it is so good. Just everything there is just so good. You get press pot coffee. I mean, it's so well done. So well done. I've done it the past 2 times I've been in Disney. I've done the breakfast at Steakhouse 71, and it's the greatest breakfast. Before that, it was always Trattoria al Forno that we would do for breakfast. Since then, I guess it would just depend on where I'm going. If I'm going to Epcot, it would be Trattoria. If it's Magic Kingdom, go over to Steakhouse 71 and get some breakfast before going over.
Oh yeah. That breakfast pizza at Trattoria is that's a phenomenal dish.
There you go. Lisa's
backing you up here. 100% the best. Steakhouse 71.
It's an incredible place for breakfast. It really is. I hadn't done anything but breakfast there, but I'm assuming the rest of it's pretty good. And if you've never done lunch at Olivia's,
I have a theory here, Jimmy, that says you ain't a legit DVC member
unless you've been to Olivia's,
till you've been to Olivia and had the fried chicken dinner and paid homage to all of the DVC members that came before us.
Doesn't hurt.
Once you've done that,
doesn't hurt either if you go stop by the Gurgling Suitcase and have a cocktail.
Yeah,
because it's one of the coolest little bars like at any of the resorts. It's very small, very quaint, but it's pretty amazing little place just to hang out right there.
And the naming and the marketing and the story behind it from
it's
Prohibition
funny.
Era, and
it's great.
People used to sneak their hooch into suitcases, and when you tip it side to side, it'd gurgle.
Yeah,
it is
good stuff. Lots of fun.
Lisa's giving a shout out to Mickey Waffles and bacon and grits.
Yeah, that's at Steakhouse 71. Oh my God, it's incredible. Maybe we should keep that a secret. Maybe we should keep that between us.
Maybe, but you know what? All the restaurant proprietors know who we are, and they love it when we talk about, the awesome stuff on their show. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Because it's the same person that was over like Top of the World, the DVC lounge upstairs, and this. And she was just like, Chad, anytime you need in, like, here's my cell phone number. And
that's awesome.
I probably shouldn't say that on air, but
that's incredible though. Hey,
because she's just like, you talk about that Top of the World cake and you drive a ton of people here to come in and get the cake. And the cake is like worthy of going there and making a special trip to get it. Like,
I'm not really happy what they did with Top of the World.
Really?
Well, they took it away from away from resale buyers. So
yeah, they took it away from the resale buyers as well. Yeah, I get that. But
I get that. I get that people who buy directly from Disney deserve some little perk that resale buyers don't get. But I mean, access to a bar that I got to go pay for drinks. Come on.
That's a little on the petty side.
Yeah, you're not really giving me anything except for access, right? Because I'm going to go there and look. I guess that's what bothers me the most. It's my soapboxes. A lot of people will just go there and just go hang out for the fireworks. I want to go hang out and have drinks. I'm gonna run up a bar tab. We're gonna have snacks and drinks, and it's gonna be a good time.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Anytime you want to go, drop me a note. I'll flash the blue card. I'll get us up. So
yeah, I like it.
Because there's another little secret that's out there now. You're not even required to be on property anymore as long as you have a blue card.
As long as you have the blue card.
Which is a local that can get there in like 20 minutes. It's awesome, right?
I've been up there a few times. Never as showing my own DVC, but I've had other friends bring us up, and it's a great place.
I love the theming. I love all of that. But now let's get back to this part here. Like the story has changed, because how old were your kids when you bought DVC?
Probably 17 and 19.
Ooh, okay.
So they were still already older.
Yeah, so they were older, and see, Lincoln was 4, Bryn was 6, and I think Reagan was 11 when we bought in. So, and that was in 2017. So we've got to take them through, and Reagan just now graduated high school. And so she's like at the bring a boyfriend stage with her. And I'm like, I'm not ready for this. Like, it's, yeah.
What's interesting is I think my kids were almost at the point where like we bought DVC, not that they were fed up with Disney, but they were like, okay, that me and my wife went without them, and they were old enough to leave at home by time, and the next, so they did a trip or two with us as DVC, but for the most part, since we bought DVC, it's been mostly just me and my wife.
Okay.
And I think, 2 years ago, we all went, but they went with their significant others. I didn't pay for that. Like, they booked their own room. We booked them rooms at, I think, my son and his girlfriend, and they brought another couple. So they paid a little extra for the room and did Caribbean, I think. And my daughter and her now husband, boyfriend at the time, did one of the All-Stars, I think.
Okay.
It was fun.
Oh yeah, but that's kind of nice that they're out there paying their own Disney trips. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely, 100%.
You gotta love that. Like,
and it won't be long though. I get a feeling it won't be long then that I'll have some grandkids that I'll be paying. I'll be footing the bill to take them, because I'll be the one probably taking them more than their parents.
Oh yeah. But that's a whole new level of awesome that I'm looking forward to in the DVC journey. Not anytime soon. Please. No time soon.
Oh, no, I'm ready. I've been hinting at my kid, my daughter, because she's married. My son's not married yet. But I'm like, okay, whenever you're ready, I'm ready for some grandkids.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll welcome it when the time comes, but let's
Sure.
get them through college, get them married.
Oh yeah, for sure. Get them in
jobs
the,
first.
get them
right?
jobs,
So,
making money, settle down in a good place. Absolutely.
okay. So where all have you guys stayed on point so far, Jimmy?
Animal Kingdom Lodge, both Kidani and Jumbo, Old Key West, Saratoga, Beach Club, Boardwalk, Bay Lake Tower.
Poly Grand Flow?
No Poly, no Grand Flow.
Okay. Have you been out to California?
I have, but again, we stayed at the Disneyland Hotel and booked that on a travel agent discount.
Yeah. So the Grand Californian is amazing. Any Alani trips? Well, you mentioned the flight.
And I'm not saying I would never do it, but I'm also kind of stingy. I'm a value resort guy before I was DVC, so I'm still always like kind of stingy with my points. Like I see those other places out there, but I'm like, you know what? If I can save these points and stay at Saratoga, which I already enjoy, I guess the one I would really like to do that I have yet to do, the bucket list there would be Poly. I really don't have any desire to stay at Grand Floridian.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of points. It's very bougie, and
it's a little stuffy for me. I like the fact that I think Poly is just as nice, but just a little more laid back.
Yeah. My whole thing is like, look, Martha, a peasant's in a My DVC point shirt, and as I walk past, is kind of what I expect to hear at the Grand Flow. Yeah. It's grown on me a little bit more. It has.
I like to go really visit the lobby and walk through. I mean, it's fine, but I don't know. It's just a little stuffy for me.
Yeah, just catching up with a couple comments here. Jared is saying Trattoria Al Forno, so underrated. Great price point, top of the world, not a lot of tables. That's a fair criticism up there as well. But once you get past the firework rush, it's no big deal. There's tables galore. And then Don on YouTube wants to know, refillable popcorn bucket, deal or no deal?
It's a terrible the refillable, like just the regular bucket, not the collectible buckets, but just the regular bucket that's like $11 to $12 is a great deal in my opinion. Not as good as a deal as it should be for me because I always forget to bring them back. So I end up buying a new one every time. When we have 4 or 5 of them here that I just need to throw in a suitcase because, if you bring it back with you, they'll still, usually we're there a few times a year. So I don't know how long you can hang on to them, but typically we're back in enough time that they're still on the same bucket. So, but I always forget them. I always end up buying a new one, but $2.50 refill, $2.50 refills. I love it.
I go wrong. One of the blue card members at member perks at Alani is it's free popcorn refills on their bucket.
Nice.
So for DVC members as well with the blue card. So, I mean, you got to refill a lot of popcorn buckets to break even on that, but I'll take every little dime I can get. I'm just telling you. So Jared is commenting as well as if you can afford to bring the people, get the bigger room. It's an amazing feeling to share an Old Key West 3-bedroom with both sets of grandparents and just really unreal.
Yeah, that's cool.
That is the best bang for your buck in terms of grand villas.
I just watched a Facebook reel and somebody did a room tour of a 3-bedroom at Animal Kingdom Lodge Jumbo House.
Oh yeah, that one's pretty awesome.
It had like a billiards table in it. It was pretty ridiculous. I was like, wow, that's got to be a ton of points though, I would imagine.
Yeah, Jumbo is Old Key West, not too bad. Like
no.
They really messed up the point charts there because like right after that, the points almost doubled for Grand Villas. It's really not bad at all at Old Key West. So I imagine come 2058, they'll address that with the point charts if they like resell the resort.
They resell it or offer extensions or whatever.
Yeah, whatever on that.
Yeah,
and then
adjust.
Ed is saying pop DVC. So
Ed and Lisa are both co-hosts of mine. Ed's been with me. Me and Ed founded the Disney Nerds podcast together 11 years ago. So yeah, he loves pop. So yeah, maybe they should.
I can't deny it. You know what I'm saying?
At one time, when there's like some rumors going around that they would do like a moderate DVC resort, like something that would be less money, but it would be
we have the 4 wilderness cabins. They were always moderate. And
Yeah.
now all of a sudden they're deluxe.
Hmm.
And they really didn't change anything on the cabins, just refreshed them. They like wheeled out the old ones and rolled in the new trailers. It's, I'm a little harsh on those. I'm not going to lie. I think they turned a trailer park into a timeshare.
Yeah.
And people have debated me on it, and then I've had to come back in and go, well, here's the trailers rolling down I-4. So,
Oh yeah, for sure. They're for sale all over the internet.
yeah, and they're selling the old ones as well. So
That's what I'm talking about. The old ones, they're selling them for 20. I think for 20 grand, you can buy the whole thing. I think it had furniture. It's got furniture and everything in it. It's ready to go.
Yeah, it's just it's crazy. Like it's
So,
crazy.
I hadn't really seen the new ones yet. And what do we know what the point chart to stay there is?
Yeah, the point charts are pretty decent, and you're looking. It's the lowest 1-bedroom out there. Okay, but you don't have a laundry room, and
but you can still sleep 6 people probably comfortably.
Well, I'm not going to use the word comfortably when you've got like a queen bed and then bunk beds in the same bedroom. Like,
okay, so
that's just 20 levels of odd to me. Okay,
well, if you got some kids, maybe okay. So maybe it's for the extended, like a larger family. Somebody would, a couple with maybe 3 or 4 kids gives them an option outside of 2 rooms at a value or 2 rooms at a moderate.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing from families is what they're going to do is the 4-child families, they're going to put all 4 of the kids into the master bedroom, and then mom and dad are going to take the pull down, Murphy bed couch that comes down out of the wall.
Interesting.
And
okay.
So I'm like, okay, those beds aren't too bad. I could see that, but yeah. So I've yet to go over there and see them, but I've went through all the videos and everything else. It's on my list. I've just been traveling nonstop since July 1st, since those things opened up, and maybe this weekend I'll get to pop over and go check them out. And it's definitely on my list, and they definitely need a review show from us. And so I've had some super fans on of the Fort Wilderness Cabins, and they have their own following, right? And I don't want to throw any shade on.
Oh no, it's a different. It's a whole subset of people who, and actually we have one, our friend Charlotte, who's been with us on our pod, helps co-host our podcast, and been a good friend but that's how she first came on our show, was because she had camped, not in the like RV'd in the at the campgrounds quite a bit, and it's an interesting thing because it's a whole subset of people. Some of those people don't even go to the parks or anywhere else; they just hang out on the campground. It's literally a camping experience, so which is interesting.
Yeah. And Jared's saying if he gets one in June, he'll grill me a burger and I'll eat it. So yeah, I'm down with that, Jared. Like I'm down for the whole campground experience. I need to just go over there and knock that out, buddy.
You mean, how much of the campground experience are you in for? Like if Jared pitched, had a tent beside the cabin, would you sleep in it?
Yeah, if I could, I'd try it. Right.
All right.
Depending the Florida rain and mosquitoes and everything else. But yeah, I'm down for it, man. I mean, you need the full experience here. You need to do it
you need to do it like in December.
That'd be awesome. He's also saying Deluxe Plus. They aren't real 1-bedrooms because there's no laundry. I'm with you on that one. And
is there a community laundry room there? I guess there is. I think all the
there is by the pools.
Yeah. Okay.
And there definitely is by the pools. But AKSR saying newbies like me don't realize what we're missing in terms of real DVC perks and services until we watch the DVC OG videos. Yeah, back in the day, like they had, when everybody was getting valet services and all that other kind of fun stuff. It was top notch, but we outgrew that. Like that was no longer a viable deal. And I think the real story is Disney sold off the valet business to some, like a third-party company for them to manage and run. And at that point in time, it wasn't in-house anymore, and it wasn't economical for them to keep giving it away for free to members.
I just wish they would bring back Tables in Wonderland.
I just had that conversation yesterday, like literally yesterday at Geyser Point, because it's technically a lounge, so it's not even like a sit-down restaurant. So there's no AP, there's no DVC discount, there's no nothing. And I'm like, well, where's my tables, man? I wish they'd come back.
It was a great deal, a good perk to have for somebody that if you're somebody like us that frequents Walt Disney World, it was great to have that table.
Oh, and for locals as well. Like that takes the edge off of the Disney prices.
Sure.
Because you just go, okay, I'm paying $150 and I'm getting prepaid tips is pretty much how it worked out. Because you take 20% off, you add 20% for the tip. Like it's prepaid tips. And
yeah, you're right.
And the
it was cool
servers all
because-
loved it because they knew they were getting their 20% tip.
And it was cool at places like Rose and Crown that you can just go in the pub and it would still work because it was connected to a restaurant. I'm assuming like Tune In Lounge would be the same thing. It wouldn't work at beer carts or anything like that. But if it was a lounge and had a restaurant connected to it, you can use it and get 20%
Yeah, I think
off.
it even worked at like the one Territory Lounge in Wilderness.
Okay.
It worked there. It worked at Martha's Vineyards as well and Beach Club. So I think if it was a full permanent location, it worked at as well. And then
To Jared's
the free
point,
valet
and free
parking
valet
was just the
parking with
bomb.
tables. Yep.
Yeah, that was just the bomb. So Jimmy, now that you're moving into like possible grandparent land, do you see yourself adding on any more points anytime soon, or?
Eventually we will. It's coming. I think if I add on 50 more and get to 200, I think that'd be a very comfortable spot for me.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
that I need any more than that with the, the fact that we get to use travel agent discount on a week, 1 week per year. And I break the rest of them up. I think 200 is going to be plenty for me.
If you're staying studios, that's definitely enough.
Yeah.
And
And
you're
that's
staying, keep your wife out of the 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms. The only thing I got to say for you, because
right. Yeah. Then it changes.
it's game over when that happens. And if she's watching this, I'm sorry. So I apologize in advance. Right. It's
yeah, for sure.
because it's Florida. Like the laundry room is just like essential.
Last month, we were there for a few days, and I don't know that I've showered more in the span of a few days. I mean, every day we went back midday for showers, and as an addition to maybe a morning shower and an evening shower. Like it was just ridiculous because it's so hot. I mean, as soon as if you're outside for 20 minutes, you're sweating like you're drenched. So it was crazy.
Yeah, it's Florida. Like multiple changes to clothes. I think that was what we really enjoyed most about DVC. Was my wife knew I only had to bring 3 or 4 sets of clothes and I could stay as long as I wanted to because she just did laundry every day or every other day, or it was no big deal.
Yeah,
like
that's
it was
smart.
just, right there in the room. It's
And in addition to that, also it saves your life like when you come home, because my wife would do the laundry and put it back in the suitcases. And then when she get home, like just put it back away. It was all cleaned and you didn't have to worry about coming home with a suitcase full of laundry to do.
yeah. You didn't have to come back home from vacation and go to work.
Correct. Yeah. Do a little bit while you're there and then just pack it back up clean and, put it away when you get home.
So is there anything that's like notably on your bucket list here? Because I haven't heard anything from like aspirationals to like a lot of times people say, I want to stay at a Polynesian bungalow or a cabin or something along those lines.
I really think like, other than just staying at the Poly, I don't care about a bungalow. I think the the Saratoga tree houses, I think they're great. I just don't know if I think I'm too frugal for it. I really do. The way my brain works is how many trips can I get out of those points? You know what I mean? Like I could go once this year and stay here, or I could take those same amount of points and stay at a studio and make that 4 trips.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. I appreciate you airing that view here because I think you're speaking for a lot of people right there. I think a lot of people are shaking their heads listening to this podcast going, yep, I'd rather come more often, stay longer in a smaller, cheaper room.
Yeah,
And
I think that's it for me. It doesn't need to be this big blowout trip at the nicest possible place. Like I'll take a little less quality and move the quantity up a little bit. I think there's a sweet spot, right? I don't want to stay at the Days Inn. Like I don't need that much quantity for that little quality. But I think there's a sweet spot that I stay in a regular room, DVC, which is still pretty freaking nice, and it's just me and my wife. We don't need a ton of space, and be able to go pretty often.
Yeah, that's definitely it. Ed is saying, back to Pop or the All Stars, and you can't go wrong with those. Like you really, really, really can't go wrong with
I would tell you back in 2018, I think it was, when I first bought the 100 points, right? I did the math on that, on how much the cost of it was per year with the dues. And if I divide it out, at the time it was like I had 35 years left, I think. So I took the amount I paid for it, divided by 35, and then added what the annual dues were at that time. And obviously they've adjusted a little bit, but it was right about $900 a year.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, I can't stay at Pop Century for a week for $900.
Oh, no. No.
And I could stay at Saratoga in a studio room for my 100 points that I had at the time. So for $900, I was staying at Saratoga for a week in a studio, or Old Key West for a week in a studio, and I couldn't do the same at Pop Century All-Star.
No. The value proposition is completely changed. Like
So-
it's
And I've seen that flip. At the time, I probably could have, right? At the time, I probably could have stayed at a value resort for $900 for the week, or maybe even less. And when you buy into DVC, that's one thing you understand, that you're locking this price in for the long haul, and the prices of these value resorts are going to keep going up. I mean, you sometimes during the peak season, Pop Century is like $280 a night.
Yeah, that's insane, man. That's like, because I remember getting it for about $100 a night when Disney would put it on a fill out the resort at the end of August, like this time of year sales.
Yeah.
And they're just wanting people in their rooms, and you'd get it for $100. But I think
Pre-pandemic,
those are
you could get
long
a
gone.
room at All-Star during the week for $89 a night with with annual pass discount.
Yeah.
which
Yeah, I
is
think
nuts.
those things are long gone.
Yeah, I mean, you can still get 120-ish on a weeknight, during like September. You may get 120-ish, but $89-$90 a night is gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. Jared's saying that you guys need to debate because he splurges all the time, king of borrow, and we're out on studios. So.
Oh, I still borrow. I'm always 1 year ahead in my points. I'm always borrowing from the following year as soon as they're available. But it's not because I'm splurging on the 1 or 2 bedrooms. It's because I've just booked that many trips.
Got it.
Two things. I right around the time we did DVC, at the time I was working for Chase Bank, and I signed up for a Southwest Visa card. Southwest from New Orleans is, other than like the budget airlines like Spirit and Frontier, Southwest is the only one that flies direct and back from Orlando. All the other major airlines, Delta, American, all have layovers. Signed up for a Southwest Visa, and we use that for everything we buy. Goes on that Southwest card. So I usually get, the past few years, I've usually get companion pass, and I book my flights on points. So I'm like, you know what? I book my flights on points. I've got DVC, and I've got an annual pass. Like, it literally hardly costs me anything to go down. So how many trips can I squeeze in a year?
Oh yeah,
Even if
I've become a Southwest fan. I mean, I've done this whole series with Lynn Mettler from Families Fly Free, and where she teaches people how to work the Southwest system, and it's a paid course. And yeah, we went to Alani and back, like on points, and still have 250,000 points left. Like, it's insane.
It's ridiculous. Yep.
It's
And then what will happen is, if like when I do the years, I do qualify based on my credit card spending. If I qualify for companion pass, then that whole year I end up banking points because I'm only using points for me, and my wife flies for free.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, then you're just stacking points because I'm only paying for flights just for one person.
Oh yeah.
The flights to Orlando are usually pretty cheap.
Yeah, I'm coming to see you guys in New Orleans for Labor Day. So, and you're right, direct flight from MCO. Like it's on Southwest. It's a glorious thing.
Yeah, you can usually find it for $60.
Oh wow. Yeah, I didn't do that.
69, 89. Yeah, at one time it was 69 pretty much all the time. You could find 69. Now I think it's closer to 89. But when you book on points, it's a little bit less.
Yeah, it was a great deal. I think all in I was like 16,000 points. So
pretty cheap. So it's like $160, I think.
So it's
$1.
It's in the 80s, round trip, right?
Yeah.
Because I used her point stretching tips as well. Played that thing like a Stradivarius, man. It's
Well, you got to do it.
Yeah, so Don's asking a question here. What's a better value, a 1-bedroom or a studio, or a 2-bedroom when bringing grandparents?
Got to be the 2-bedroom over a 1-bedroom and a studio. It's combined.
Oh, yeah. Because there's something called the lock-off premium. So there's a formula for pretty much all DVC rooms. And if a studio is X, a 1-bedroom is 2X, and a 2-bedroom is 2.5X. So in terms of the point charts, that's kind of how that goes. And so when somebody splits it and they book a 1-bedroom and a 2-bedroom, DVC is pulling 3X points out of the system. Whereas if you just book the 2-bedroom, they're only pulling 2.5 points out of the system. So they're sneaky about that. Like it's called the lock-off premium. So it's 2 bedrooms always your best value that's out there. and then if you go Grand Villa, other than Old Key West, they more than double in cost to go from 9 people to 12 people, which is just a little cuckoo, right?
That's a little nuts.
But you're getting a pretty opulent floor plan with that as well. So yeah, 2-bedroom all the way if you've got the points.
I couldn't believe the Grand Villa. I couldn't believe the one at the video I watched at Animal Kingdom Lodge. The fact that it had a billiards table and 3 separate patio, 3 separate verandas overlooking it's like, wow, this is next level. Like, it's great.
Oh, yeah.
Big walk-in closet. It's like you could live there.
Oh, you better believe it. And
it's like a nice house. I mean, it's like a condo.
Yeah, Columbus Day, we're going to the Grand Villa at the Villas at Disneyland Hotel. And dude, you've got a double-sided glass fireplace there with a huge patio on the outside. And oh my gosh, it's like, talk about next level. Like that.
Yeah,
that's
bananas.
That's a level of luxe that I'm just not used to. That's just not in my life. Right. But I'll take more of it. Take
it all. Absolutely. Give nothing back.
Any other final questions we've got from our live audience for Jimmy and I before we wrap this up? Because it's been a great show and a great conversation with you as well.
I appreciate the invite.
Yeah. I wanted to do a shout out as well, Jimmy. Now, we've had the same sponsors for me, 2019, and you probably, I think they were with you a little before me.
I don't remember exactly, but it probably, I would say 17 or 18, but I'm not 100% sure. It's been so long.
Yeah, I mean, but between the two of us, we've had to send them thousands upon thousands upon thousands of referrals. And I have never heard any legitimate issue whatsoever.
Not one.
I know of one time they made a mistake on a contract and they fixed it and over accommodated, like they gave the person extra points and out of their own inventory, and they weren't obligated to do so. That's like once. And then I heard some people complaining in the pandemic that didn't read their rental contract.
Oh, well.
And I'm like,
that's on you.
I don't know what to tell you. It's black and white. It's in the rental contract. Like, I'm sorry you didn't read it, but it's that's it. But other than that, I honestly can't say that I know of anything that's really, truly, legitimately negative that's come back to me in feedback. Have you heard anything that differs from that?
I recommend them all the time and have no qualms about recommending them. Like I would recommend anybody, my best friend, Ian.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I'm like, nope, you got to go through them. Be sure to go through them. Derek helped me on both of my contracts. So I sent Ian directly to Derek, but anybody they're all great. They're really all great. You can see like at one point it was all of them had at one point worked for Disney DVC. I don't know if that's still the case. I know most of them.
Yeah.
I know vast majority of them have worked for Disney DVC or for Disney at some point, but the vast majority of them, and that's where Nick got his education in DVC, is working for Disney DVC. So I think you see that come through in their level of customer experience and in the way they treat people.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite tagline is, you don't have to pay the Disney price tag to get the Disney level of experience and service that comes with these guys. It's just like built in under the hood. Yeah. And so I'm glad to know that, like, I'm not alone here. Like, cause I'm just going like, surely, like it's, and Derek's a great guy. Jody's a great guy. Andy, everybody there. At some point in time, I've done a show with almost everybody there.
Yep.
Or talked with them and doing research for a show.
Even on the rental side, even Paul and Amy and
Paul and Amy
and Carrie. And I mean, look, we've done expos that, we did the House of Mouse Expo, and they had their booth right next to ours. And we got to meet some of the people that some of their folks that don't even work in Florida, because they do have people that work remotely.
Oh yeah.
We got to meet some of those people, and just across the board from Nick Cotton all the way down. It's a group of extraordinary people.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't say enough great things about them. They will steer you right, and 100% of the time. And if direct is right for you, they'll tell you that too. But you've got to make that decision. You got to be looking at this pile of money you're going to save at resale going, hey, I want the free popcorn refills at Alani.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm that guy as well. I'm not throwing shade at him. Right. I've got a bunch of direct points now and love getting into my lounges and everything else. But, come time to add some Alani points on, we're going to be talking with the resale market. Like it's in my future. It's going to happen, Jimmy.
I'm in the short time frame to be adding something on.
Nice. Okay, well, I think that pretty much wraps up today's show. I want to thank you so much for joining us, sharing your DVC story, comparing little notes here on the sponsors, and huge shout out of thanks to DVC Resale Market, DVC Rental Store, and Monera Financial for their continued support of both of our platforms and both of our shows. And as always, guys, hopefully you learned something in today's show from Jimmy's story and his perspective and the crowd interaction that'll help you go out there and plan something magical for your family. Jimmy, thanks one more time again for joining us. I greatly appreciated my time together with you.
Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate the invite, and hopefully we can do it again soon.
Yeah, you bet. Sounds awesome. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye. Kwaherini.
Ladies and gentlemen, please watch your head and step as you exit, and take small children by the hand.
Aw, chill up, Dad. You know I'll come back. What DVC?
My DVC Points is an unofficial Disney-inspired podcast created by fans of Disney Vacation Club. The thoughts expressed in this podcast are personal opinions and personal experiences. My DVC Points is not affiliated with Disney Vacation Club, the Walt Disney Companies, or any subsidiaries. We encourage listeners to contact their DVC guide or member services for official DVC policies.